The Very Smart Pea and the Princess to Be, retold and illustrated by Minnie Gray. Many years ago, I was born in the palace garden, among rows of carrots and beets and cabbages. I nestled snugly in a velvety pod with my brothers and sisters. I felt a tingle. I knew that somehow I would be important. The time came for us to go to the palace kitchen. We were shelled and put in a bowl. We were going to be part of a new recipe. Then, suddenly, I was picked from the pile. I was put in a little box with soft tissue to protect me from bruising, and I was taken to the queen. At this point in my story, I'm going to have to give you some background information. Let's start with the queen. A year earlier, before I even started to grow on my pea plant, the queen had been nagging her son. "You are nearly 34 years old, Prince," she said. "It really is high time you married. The public expects it. Your kingdom demands it. And if you are not married within 1 year, I shall stop your allowance." Well, the prince got quite a large allowance, and he really didn't want it to be taken away. "I'll start looking for a bride immediately, mother," he answered. And so the search began. The prince traveled the known world. He met princesses of all shapes and sizes, with a wide range of hobbies and interests, but none of them seemed like a real princess. Somehow, they were not right for him. They were either too loud, too quiet, too funny, too grumpy, too sleepy, too energetic, too scruffy, too tidy, too pink, too scary, or had strange pets. After a year's search, the prince returned home, feeling glum. "That's enough!" shouted the queen, and she stormed off to the palace kitchen, and she came back with me and my little box. "Now," said the queen, "listen carefully. This is something that only queens know. A real princess will be able to feel this little pea as she sleeps, even if she's sleeping on top of 20 mattresses and feather beds. And you are going to marry the first girl who can feel this pea." Months passed. I spent most nights in the darkness under a pile of 20 mattresses and feather beds and a princess. In the morning, the queen would ask, "And how did you sleep, my dear?" The princesses, who had been properly brought up, they always answered politely, "Like a log, thank you, ma'am," or "Like a baby, thank you, ma'am." And they all said, "What a comfortable bed." They were, as I said, all very polite princesses. "The prince will never find his princess at this rate," said the queen. So I thought to myself, I must help somehow. One night, a furious storm raged. Rain lashed the palace. Thunderclaps shook the walls. Lightning flashed through the window panes. There was a little knock on the palace door. A small wet person stood on the doormat. "Could this be the real princess?" gasped the queen. Before she could say a word, the small wet person was put to bed on top of the 20 mattresses and feather beds, with me, of course, underneath. In the darkness under the mattress, I recognized the soft snoring. It was my gardener. I must help, I thought. I tried jiggling and wriggling. The snoring continued quietly. I must do something, I thought. I inched my way to the edge, and then I started to climb. Slowly, I struggled to the top of the towering pile. I softly rolled across the pillow, right to the girl's ear. "There's something large and round and very uncomfortable in the bed under you," I whispered. And while she slept, I told her all about the large, round, uncomfortable thing for 3 hours. In the morning, the queen asked the girl how she had slept. "Oh, it was awful," she sighed. "Something round and large and uncomfortable was bothering me all night." Well, the queen was delighted to hear this. The wedding was lovely. The queen was interested to meet the new princess's parents, and I'm sure they will all live happily ever after. And as for me, I became a very important artifact, and now I have my own glass case. I am on display, and if you visit the right museum and look in the right place, you may chance to see me. The end.